What is going on, people? Welcome to an EP reaction and review of Eyez /Z. Grime Down Under. This is an Oz to UK, UK to Oz collaboration by Grime artist Eyez, working with some of Australia's biggest artists, really. I'm assuming for an all Grime EP. Obviously, hence being the name Grime Down Under. I was gonna do individual reactions to the songs and then do like a video just on the review, but I feel like I'm gonna get copyrighted if I react to the whole song, just because typically UK artists seem to be more on top of the copyrighted side of things than Australian artists are. So I'm gonna stick to my usual format. I am gonna listen to every song, but you will only see the highlights of me reacting, should you say. Obviously, I'll be taking down my notes, and then yeah, we'll have a review at the end. Wombat coming in with that typical Wombat flow that we're used to. Like, yeah, man, I like it still.
Let it build up. We get paid with the real ones. I don't lean back when I push back, but I push Mike, so give me the wheel up.
Yeah.
Let it build up.
Yeah, that was cold. That was cold.
Back when I push back, but I push Mike, so give me the wheel up. John Jones, I got combos. I don't the show like punchlines like Chuck Liddell, so get fucked.
Alright, you know, we got them UFC bars, son. You know what? Listening to Chillin' It beside Eyez reminds me of how Aussie chill sounds. Like, I forget about this Australian accent when I'm reacting to these artists, but when I hear them side by side with a UK don, it reminds me of how, what's the word I'm gonna use, prevalent their accent is, if that makes sense. Like, it reminds me that they're Aussie, basically.
Mention my name, that ain't gonna work. Got too many man that depend on me. About beef with Eyez, not Eyez is my boy. Got love for my peers, South End on sea.
IAmChazza is the darkest light white guy that I've ever heard of.
Young Don from the AUS, they mention my name when they say who's best. Say they're the plug, but when I connect, get your headphone jacked like a AUX. Easy and KAM. Z.B to me on the feet, got an MC looking like they ain't slept for me. Every day is a payday, mayday.
Yeah. Nerve. It would have been nice. I know this is an Eyez production EP, but I'd love Nerve to have produced a track or two. I wonder if Nerve did have any say on the production side of things. Maybe he did. I don't think he did, but maybe it's possible. I don't know. But I think it'll be dope for us, say, Nerve to do a similar thing. I know Nerve has done a Grime EP with Wombat. Obviously, he's featuring on this. It would be nice to hear Nerve maybe do some sort of an EP working with just UK artists, and then him produce everything. I feel like that would be a dope concept. Yeah.
Remove his head top, headshot, lay brains all over your desktop. Said doc, give me the rhythm and let me guess spot. Let a vet put it down, better be a dead dog. Can't waste, taking time is money. I'm still broke as a joke, so I find it funny. I'm like Michael Hussey, I got it covered in the field. You silly, my point. Anyone beside me, Scully, I try to tell.
Yeah, I gotta say, every artist that's touched Mike so far, UK or Oz, has sounded clean as fuck. Like, there's definitely a high level of talent so far, and it evidently shows. Like, every single one of them sounds comfortable with what they're spitting.
Might be living on the side of the world, but please don't think that we don't know shit.
Yeah.
Bad man knows, yeah, Smash been sick since about 06. So sick, yeah, man, I show this big smile on my face, live a man so pissed. Respect me or suck your granddad's toes, or catch your backhand, no fist, yeah.
We got sucking toes bars, son. Let's go.
I was in Oz, spent 210 on the Oz. Should've got a box, could've got more from the crop. I was in Oz, spent 210 on the Oz. Should've got a box, could've got more from the crop.
I don't know how I feel about that hook. I don't know. Maybe I need to take a liking to it, but straight off of first impression, I'm a bit unsure about that one.
$1,000 in a zip G, hot champagne for the victory. Man's up to mischief, hot box whip getting misty. Yo, little nigga, are you with me?
Yeah, he sounds so much more comfy. He sounds so much better barring out, to be fair. Yeah, I definitely prefer Eyez spitting lyrics as opposed to the vocals, hook, singing thing, but fair enough, he's pushing the ball out and I respect that.
Shutting down sets, them boys hate cause I get to them checks. Running up money and I do it for my fam. Them boys they just chat and they flex for the gram. Nah, you were not bad cause you rock no face. You ain't no Adelaide, you ain't caught no case. I was like 13 out on road, dropping off boxes trying to get paid.
Oi, up in a Rennie, blacked out, no Jazz gonna see me. BK got a grip on a Henny, roll one, smoke one, then repeat.
Yes, let's go, Shadow, let's go.
Easy, get back,
Get hit from a 6 like a test match. You don't wanna walk high spine with a jetpack. Bare real life, no
We got cricket bars, son. Let's go.
So please don't doubt my ability, speed and agility. Girl said I look aborigine, true said she in the movie. Got the Spitfire trilogy, bars infinity, no conspiracy. Spray like bucks in the military.
I can't lie. Already, we're only halfway through the song. This is my favorite one of the EP already.
UK all the way to you again. That cunts wanna talk that shit for the camera. I'm from Australia, then down under. Talk shit to me, I might boomerang ya.
Yeah. Okay, Grime Down Under. Eyez and Z Dot featuring a bunch of Aussie artists, and yeah, let's start with those artists. I feel like the artists that were selected to feature on these tracks were a very, very good representation of Australian music, especially Australian grime. Like, to be fair, when I think of Australian grime, I think of the artists that are mentioned here. I think of Haz, I think of Shadow, I think of Nerve, I think of Wombat, I think of Frax. And so it's just nice to see those guys spread out across these 5 tracks. As for the track, That's What I Bring featuring Chillin' It and Wombat, I mean, Eyez starts off this EP and really establishes his flow, just establishes that typical Eyez style that we're used to seeing. And then Wombat comes with those multis, which again we're used to hearing, and Chill kind of did the same as what he normally does as well. And that's a common theme across all of these tracks, to be fair. But I feel like this track, with all of these man just playing comfortable with what style they're used to, really set the tone. Mention my name, I mean, Camdog, Kamikaze comes in and just shows his presence. I've been talking about that a lot recently, but presence, you know it's Kamikaze. There's no mistaking him from anyone else. As I said, he's the lightest, darkest, dark white guy I've ever heard in my life. That doesn't even make sense, but Millwall, that deep, bassy cadence that he has, it just... Oh no, man, I just fuck with it, you know. Nerve featured on this track, and Nerve was a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Not that Nerve did bad in any way, shape or form, but I don't know, Nerve just didn't create any moments for me. But it was nice to see Eyez shout him out and then mention him shutting down Brizzy with Nerve and things like that. I feel like it was good homage paid to. But yeah, that track as a whole, I don't know. It's just because I massively respect Nerve and I massively respect Kamikaze. I just felt like I wanted more from it. But maybe that's just me expecting too much from it. We got Other Side, and Eyez definitely written these bars keeping radio sets or ciphers in mind, in my opinion. Like, the way how he delivers it as well, I expect him to put at least 25% more in, but I feel like when it's on a studio track, it's one thing, but I feel like those bars would really flourish on a live set. Alex Jones sounded comfy and to an extent not underwhelming, but again, maybe I just expected more. But definitely sounding comfortable, definitely sounding like a seasoned MC that knows what the fuck he's doing. And speaking of someone who's seasoned, Frax was flexing that knowledge and flexing that experience that he's had, and just basically sending that message to the UK listeners. Look, Oz have been doing their thing for a while now, since I think he mentioned 06 with Smash Brothers. So, you know, he's mentioning the years that he's been doing this. He's been flexing how hard he's been going in and how hard all of these artists have been doing their thing. The hook on Oz, I listened to it back once more after. I still can't fuck with it. And that's because I respect Eyez as a barrer way too much. Like, when he bars out, when he gets into that verse, he kills it. And so just that hook, I don't know. I was just a bit like... unsure for me, but typically I don't like the auto-tune kind of sound, so yeah. And then Rops featured on this with that laid back kind of lazy delivery that he has, that I don't give a fuck but I'll still slew you kind of attitude, and I really fuck with Rops when he does that, as long as his pen game's top quality, which in this track, yeah, he set a decent standard. And the only track that really stood out for me was the Grime Down Under track itself, track number 5 featuring Haz and Shadow. Shadow just sounds at home. Like, on his recent Cream EP, he had some really nice tracks, and I respected the fact that he pushed his versatility and tried new things. But for me, I'm gonna be that ignorant fan and say I just want to hear Shadow on Grime. Same as Haz just sounded at home. It's what you expect from Haz, and he delivered it in his verse. Eyez too probably had one of his best verses on the whole EP in this track. He just sounded so natural. His multis were on point, and as well with those multis, he was actually barring out bar for bar. There was at least a punchline in every bar, or some sort of double entendre or piece of wordplay, or just bold statement that just made everything turn together. So that definitely was the track I enjoyed the most for me personally. Now, despite me digging out a few things, I still do enjoy this EP, but I feel like it could be better. The problem for me is that it was too structured. It was typically verse, hook, or hook, verse, hook, verse. it seemed too structured. I mean, all of these tracks are within the 2 to 3 minute range. I don't even know if it's down to Z Dot, because Z Dot killed these beats. To be fair, I fuck with these instrumentals that were produced here, but again, it was very predictable on what was gonna come next, bar maybe which feature's gonna go first. Other than that, there was no kind of element of surprise about this. There was no keeping you on your toes waiting for something new. It was just, okay, that's what we're delivering. Even down to every single artist here, bar maybe the hook on Oz, everyone did what they're comfortable doing, and I'm okay with that, but at the same time, it brought nothing new, which makes me a slight hypocrite, because I say about Shadow, you know, what I want from him is grime, and that's what he delivered. And, you know, I'm happy to hear grime from all of these artists, but I don't know, I don't feel like they did anything new. Now, maybe that is me being really fucking harsh on them, and maybe if I listened to this a little bit more, I'd get into it or whatnot. And it's not that I think it's a bad EP in any way, shape or form. I wouldn't even call it average. I would say it is a great EP, but I leave it without feeling like anything sticks out in mind. I don't feel like I had many memorable moments. I don't feel like I had too much of a, oh my god, we need to will that the fuck up. Like recently reacting to Husky's track featuring Chillin' It and Alex Jones, when he did the kill 2 birds with 1 stone by feed the bitch rock and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That bar sent me nuts. There was nothing much like that on this, not even from Alex Jones himself. Now, we've seen plenty of reactions that I've done to Chillin' It, Wombat, Alex Jones, Nerve, Shadow, where I've gone absolutely nuts, and I don't feel like I had that often, really. I enjoyed it, I bopped my head, I'll show a gun finger, and I appreciate it, but there's nothing that makes this memorable. I don't know, maybe I'm just being too critical because I set my standards really high. Look at the heavyweight fucking features Eyez has got on this EP. Maybe that's why I just expected at least half of it to bang. But I don't know, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Feel free to let me know what you think about this EP. Go show some love to it, go stream it, go copy it, you know, all of that. Go show it some love, go show these artists love. If you're a UK listener and you haven't heard of any of these Aussie artists, I extremely advise you to go listen to at least a couple tracks from each Aussie feature, because I'm sure you'll fuck with at least a few of them. But yeah, my album Visionary is down in the description below. Feel free to click that link and check it out. Yeah, sorry about getting around to this a little bit late, but better late than never, eh? And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you, man, later.